Welcome to the Every Temple podcast. My name is Tony, and this is my co-host Janelle.
Hello.
And together we want to talk about the history and stories from every temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Today we are excited to talk about the Lima Peru Temple. President Benson said, "The blessings of the house of the Lord are eternal. They are of the highest importance to us because it is in the temples that we obtain God's greatest blessings pertaining to eternal life. Temples are really the gateways to heaven." Thank you for joining us. I got asked to speak in church on Sunday because of temples. So they want me to talk about temples. And that's a lot of pressure.
That's really different than what we do here. Like, you're not going to...
I'd rather have a conversation with Janelle about temples than just stand up there in front of everyone I know.
And like, even though we do inspirational things on here, we're talking facts and stats. I don't know.
That's not at church. That's not my part of the podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to talk about our temple because they are like the Mount Timpanogos Temple it's the 30th anniversary. And we've got the Linden Temple opening next door. And so they are a little nervous about having enough temple workers.
Yeah.
But also it would be fine if it wasn't 31 sessions a day and busy all the time.
Yeah. Like they need workers, but also they might not be as busy.
Yeah. It's okay to adjust.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Yeah.
That's my take on it, but I'm sure the Lord will provide a way and it will still be very busy.
Well, yeah.
We're going from 43 stakes in the district to 34.
It's going to still be busy.
It's going to still be busy.
We don't go, Lucy doesn't do baptisms there.
Yeah, it's too busy.
It is. And so maybe it'll open up for...
Yeah. And I was thinking about how hard is it to get a wedding date or wedding date on the time and in the temple that you want it to be at.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will open up as well. Anyway, I'm just still planning my talk.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah.
You're going to do
It'll
great.
Be fine. I'll just get it over with. Temple news. The Harare, Zimbabwe Temple open house has ended, but the dedication is March 1st by Elder Gong. Now, we talked about this temple a long time ago, but Natasha pointed out to us that President Monson announced this temple in 2016. So that was 10 years ago.
Okay.
That they've been waiting for this temple, and it's finally going to be open.
That'll be fun to talk about, because, why did it take 10 years?
I don't know.
Something in the country code, or I don't know, the government, I don't know.
Something made it take a long time.
Yeah.
And it is the 8th temple in Africa.
So I think we're going to see a boom.
Yeah, it is. There's already... They're getting finished. And then we'll have a little bit of a lull in temple news until March, but things are happening, and it's very exciting. Okay.
Excellent.
Let's jump into today's temple. Lima, Peru. The history of the church in Lima is not much until 1950s.
Right.
Parley P. Pratt wanted to go to Peru, but he didn't. And that's about the history.
I couldn't tell. I think he did, but he didn't really end up being able to do much, and he left and he wanted to go back.
Something like that. But he was excited that Peru had a religious freedom.
Yeah.
Because when he was in Chile, the government did not like him publishing things and stuff. So he wanted to go and do more in Peru, but he ran out of money and
he ran out of money and the language.
Yeah, he needed to go learn Spanish.
Was Parley P. Pratt married?
Yeah, and I think it said his wife was with him.
Okay.
And he probably had a couple wives, honestly.
Okay. I'm just he was everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Was he ever home? I knew he was married, but I'm I don't know.
But you know what I learned? I read his biography a long time ago, but what I learned was the Parley's Canyon was his canyon. Well, I guess he had ownership of it, but he had a toll on it. So that was how his family earned money while he was off adventuring. So I think that's true. If that's not true, don't tell me. Anyway, that's how he supported his family.
Yeah.
Because he was gone all the time.
He was a world traveler in the 1800s. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Okay, in the 50s, July 1956, a branch was organized and the missionaries were allowed to come in. It was mostly Americans working in Peru, and they were inviting people to their homes for Sunday schools and stuff. And I found the name Stanley Moore and his wife Edna Zaldivar held regular Sunday school meetings in their home, mostly for North American expats, but they would also invite anyone who was interested.
Yeah, and it sounds like by 1959 they had 700 converts. like had been baptized and that they had organized 3 branches.
Yeah, so it like took off
Yeah.
real quick. It was great. As those branches got organized, the young men were called to be construction missionaries because they needed more buildings built, like schools and chapels, and they just had these young men go and build those things that were needed.
Yeah. Did you say construction
Yeah.
missionaries? I got distracted a little bit. Yes, I liked that they were learning a trade.
Yes, they were. Something that would help them in their lives. But they also, I mean, members and missionaries continued to preach the gospel as well. And then it just jumps to the temple. Like the history just kind of jumped to 1981. It was announced with the 9 other temples. And good news, we've almost finished talking about those 9 temples.
Is next week the last one?
No.
Oh, okay.
But in a few episodes.
I feel like the last 18 have been the 9 temples.
Well, we did have like 6 temples in 1980 and then 9 temples in 1981.
Okay.
So it does feel like the same.
Okay. All right.
Like it was a lot. And they all sounded the same.
Okay.
We're almost done with 1981 though. That will be the last one, will be the Frankfurt.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. But if you're tired of hearing that date, so are we.
Well, when we get to 1999 and 2000, 2001, it's going to be so monotonous.
No, so many temples. When they picked the spot to build the temple, the area of that city was kind of undeveloped. They said it was fields and things, but now the city has grown around it and there's really nice homes and businesses in that area.
I did look at an aerial, like somebody must have put a drone up there, and because I had read that there were really nice homes there and stuff like it seems to be in a nice area. And it is, but the homes I was imagining were different than what was there.
In what way?
Well, if you've ever been to Draper Temple.
Yes. That's what you thought it would be?
Not necessarily. They're around Draper Temple. There's like huge houses. And I wasn't necessarily thinking like Draper Temple houses, but it still was nice and clean and everything, but it was modest.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, which is just fine.
I mean, Lima's
different than what I was imagining.
Yes, that's fine. Lima is just a really enormous city. And I heard that it takes like 4 hours just to drive through from one side of the city to the other side of the city.
So I looked up some things because first of all, I asked Bob because he's been to Lima, Peru with the choir.
Yes.
And because that was their largest concert. So they were in a stadium that held like 35,000 people, which if you've been to the conference center holds 20,000 people. Okay. So almost double the conference center size. It really is a lot of people. And he said that the city is huge. Like it's so ginormous. So Salt Lake and Utah counties together are about 2 million people. And Lima, Peru is over 11 million people. It's like one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no concept.
Yeah. I think we just don't even understand how big of a city to hold 11 million people.
Yeah.
And it's an old city. There's buildings from 14 and 1500s and lots of religious buildings too, and so much history. Anyways.
I love it.
A little bit about Lima, Peru.
Thank you. To pay for the temple, the members were asked to fundraise a little bit. Some of them gave personal possessions and sold their furniture or appliances. Some members gave gold wedding bands and even had the gold fillings pried from their teeth and then refilled with less costly things.
Yeah, and we've heard this before, and isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And somebody was saying that yet, despite these offerings, like at the dedication sessions, members never mentioned their sacrifices. They were only grateful. And so it would have been hard to sacrifice, but they didn't dwell on that. They just were so excited and happy to have a temple.
Yes. The groundbreaking was September 11th, 1982, with Boyd K. Packer was presiding. About 3,500 people were in attendance, and they had a 200-person choir.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet these other ones have had choirs, but nobody's ever mentioned it. So I love that when we get to mention a choir.
200's a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's almost tabernacle choir size.
Okay, yeah.
So
good job then. Open house?
Yeah, it was just like maybe 2 weeks, and they had like 24,000 people. And they kept it open 3 days longer because of
Demand.
high interest. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
never happened before.
Having it open for longer.
Yeah, like deciding that interest is high enough that we're going to
Yep.
just keep going.
Usually they just keep going into the night, but they really added on days. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that was smarter. The wife of the mayor of this suburb, it's called La Molina. That's where the temple is. She said, "If heaven really exists, today I have visited a little piece of that heaven."
Which is so true. I love
It's a
that.
good sentiment.
Yep.
Yeah, so at the dedication, I do have over 10,000 members from all over the country visited. There were 11 sessions, and some of them traveled 26 hours by bus to be
Yeah.
there.
Isn't that amazing?
Good job.
Because they had 120,000 saints in Peru and 45,000 saints in Bolivia. That was their temple district.
Yes.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
The
This
number
is
of people.
the third temple in South America, because we've
Yeah.
had
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo and Chile.
Yeah.
And this one. And then tomorrow or next week, we're talking about Argentina.
Yeah.
So we're going to stay in South America.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's just amazing how many saints there are. Lima, Peru has the largest numbers of stakes in any city in South America.
Wow, even more than Sao Paulo.
Yeah. But I mean, when there's over 11 million people in a city, I didn't look up Sao Paulo's population, but
it's higher, but it sounds like there's a higher concentration of members in Peru.
it seems like
I just feel like they're more ready for the gospel, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that so in the 2 years after the dedication of the temple, they had 11 stakes in the city, and in one weekend, they changed everything and created 7 new stakes in one weekend.
Yeah.
And
so that's 18 stakes.
That's like, that's a lot of like meetings and new stake presidents and
I think
and
Elder
everything.
Ballard did all of it. That's what I read.
Yes, he
Elder
did.
Ballard was, you got to be organized.
That's amazing to create 7 new stakes in one weekend.
Yeah.
What
That takes a lot of organization and planning.
They must have had that set up ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh, I got to read a clip from the dedication. So it was dedicated January 10th through the 12th, 1986 by Gordon B. Hinckley. He said, "Surely Father Lehi has wept with sorrow over his posterity. Surely he weeps today with gladness, for in his holy house there will be exercised the fullness of the priesthood to the blessing not only of those of this and future generations, but also to the blessings of those of previous generations." And I had a thought that, we all talk about we want to visit every temple. That's a common thing people have talked about. Mm-hmm. I think maybe the only person who actually did that was probably President Hinckley.
Yeah.
And the people with him, maybe. But he dedicated and rededicated 96 temples.
Oh my goodness.
And there were only 124 when he passed away. Well, so the odds are very high that he
maybe had been to all of them.
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
Well, yeah, like 96 out of 124. That means the other ones were like Salt Lake and Manti.
Right, the ones in Utah he could have visited anytime.
Yes.
And then just like Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
He easily could have been to all of them. We just want to be like President Hinckley. He's the best.
Yeah, agreed.
The Buenos Aires temple we talked about, we're going to talk about that next week. It was dedicated a week after this one. And they were both, 11 sessions in 3 days. So we're going to talk more about that next week. But.
Yeah, they called them sister temples. I don't know why, I think they probably all were sister temples.
Because they all kind of look the same.
Yep, it's a tent temple with the 6 spires.
Yeah. But these ones were built at the same time. So I think it's easier to say sister temple if they're built at the same time. But when we saw Chicago, Boise, Dallas, those were built at slightly different times, but maybe close enough.
Well, if you go look up pictures, this one's really pretty. Although they're all the same temple, I don't know, some of them are prettier than others.
And maybe the pictures are prettier.
Maybe the pictures are prettier but this one has white granite on it. It looks creamy to me, but it's a really nice finish on it. It's really pretty. Yeah. And it has a red roof or copper or
something. Red tile. But
maybe tile. It didn't look like tile to me, but
Yeah,
anyways.
but it is pretty. And
Yeah.
I always like those little arches on the side.
Yeah,
And
they're growing on me.
yeah, I don't know, something about them.
And the entrance to the temple is always kind of looks a little different. And the entrance to this one's really, I don't know, nice looking. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a pretty temple. They did a good job. It's got a nice, does it have much space for grounds?
Yeah, it was like built on 4.5 acres. And it is really pretty, actually. One of the things that popped up on my Google search was a TripAdvisor. And I'm like, okay, I'll see what they have to say. And they were very respectful. They're like, if you need a moment to meditate about Jesus Christ, these are beautiful grounds that you can just go and have a quiet moment in the middle of a city.
I love that. And they're not like trying to tell people to go to the temple. They're just like, this is a lovely garden. Why don't you check it out?
Yep.
That's great.
It was a great review.
Yeah, I love that. In 2013, they did a small renovation and they changed the Moroni. I don't know if that's a new Moroni, but he's turned. He was facing east,
probably.
and then they changed him to facing north because that's what direction the spire is facing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. They had to get approval by an apostle.
Yeah, well, I'm glad because some of these temples that have Moroni facing a different way than you think it should be, like not towards the front of the.
Right.
I think it looks a little funny.
It's like, what's he looking at over there?
And I know that they have a reason they make them face east, but it's not doctrinal. So
and Moroni's a symbol.
yeah.
And he doesn't, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I like that they kept it north facing. So Seattle's faces maybe west. Yeah, west.
We just got a comment on our Seattle YouTube video. This
Okay.
sister said she works in the temple and they're waiting for the Tacoma temple to be finished so that they can renovate
Seattle.
because it's never been renovated.
Okay.
Sorry, we're talking about Lima though. So
well, I
sorry,
was
just an
wondering
update.
the renovation on the Lima temple, all they talked about was the Angel Moroni that I found out.
Right.
What else did they do? Do you know?
No. Probably
Okay.
carpet and
Okay.
little stuff.
Well, they don't have pictures anyway.
Yeah, but also I'm wondering why they've never enlarged this temple because it is super busy.
That is what I wondered too.
And they don't have a chapel. So they are waiting in ceiling rooms to be able to go into an endowment or into an instruction room.
Oh my goodness.
They're making it work and they will always, but why not? Why have we not expanded?
So they do maybe 11 sessions a day, and so on holidays and special occasions they have done up to 35 sessions a day. I don't know how they do that, but
yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But they have, oh my gosh, why don't I know this? 4 instruction rooms. So
right.
34 sessions a day if they start at 5:30 and go till 10?
Yeah, maybe.
That's impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah, so it did surprise me that this is such a busy temple and it's never been expanded.
Exactly.
Because they do have room. They have other things on their lot. They have like a family history center, patron housing, and a cafeteria.
Yeah. I love the idea of having a cafeteria outside.
Yes.
Right?
Do it.
Put it in the visitor center. Put it next to the visitor center.
Yeah.
People need to have a snack after the temple.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be inside the temple.
They could just have an ice cream truck sitting out there for all the youth after they do baptism.
If anyone has a food truck, just go park it outside the temple. Sell donuts. Oh, and also in relation to busyness, from 1988 to 1990, attendance at the temple tripled.
Yeah.
So it's busy.
Yeah. So why didn't they make it bigger?
Well, so 11 sessions. They went up to 11 sessions a day, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a good amount, as long as you have the temple workers for it.
Lima, Peru was the first city outside of Utah to have 2 temples in one city.
That's right. You want me to talk about more temples in the area?
I think there's 10 temples in Peru at all.
Yeah, 10 potential temples. 4 of them are operating. There's Lima, and then this other one, Lima Los Olivos. Oh man, you want me to say all these names? Trujillo, Peru, and Arequipa, Peru. Those 4 are open, and then there are 6 more that are announced or under construction.
Cool, huh?
Very
That's
cool.
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I love Peru.
Yeah. And actually one of them that is going to be built is also going to be in Lima. So they're going to have 3
3?
in Lima.
I was like surprised they didn't have more in Lima with 11 million people.
Yeah, and they're getting to that point.
And I think Mexico City's the other one that has like 4. It's going to have 4
Oh,
temples.
yeah. Well, they had like
Yeah.
a ring of them. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
They
that's
have
great.
in this temple district 36 stakes and 6 districts. And they had like 13 to 17 sessions a day. All day you could find a session to go to the temple.
That's so awesome.
If you're ever in Lima, look it up. I have a story.
Okay.
We are switching roles today because you have so many facts and I have a story.
I'm glad you have a story. Because the story I have really has nothing to do with anything. I just thought it was interesting. So I'm not even sure I'm going to share it.
Okay, so one family decided to focus on getting to the temple, and they got a box to put all the money in that they had saved. And this is a man and his wife and their 2 sons, 2 youngest sons. So they have grown children who are in the story. Eventually, they had saved about $55 US, which was some other amount, but they thought they were ready to go. And then their married daughter came to them and said, here's about $25 US more so you can have money to buy food. And they were like, fantastic, thank you. We're so excited. We're ready to go book our bus tickets to go.
Yeah.
And then the oldest son was like, your health, Dad, is not well enough to take this long journey by bus. So he went and bought all 4 of them round trip airplane tickets to get to the temple and back. And the dad said, this was a blessing of an indescribable nature for us. I feel that the money we have left should be given to help the others who are not as fortunate as we. So I thought that was just the sweetest. And I love it when people save up to go to the temple and then they are able to go and then they spend the next however many months saving up again to gift it to somebody else.
Yeah. And like sometimes I'm like, well, they saved up all that money. Why didn't the son just say so in the first place that he was going to fly them? But sometimes I think that the Lord needs to see our sacrifice, our put into something. He says, okay, you really want this. I can help you with that. Right?
Yeah.
He has to see our effort.
Yes, for sure. I believe you. I believe that to be true.
Yeah.
The members in Iquitos. This is deep in the Peruvian jungle.
Okay.
There are no roads to Lima out of this jungle.
Just whacking it with a machete and on a boat.
Airplanes. They have to take an airplane to get out of the jungle. And it costs about 3 months' salary for a regular worker to get a ticket. And then they save up and then they can get to Lima. And then they go back and then they save up for the next person to go. That's what I meant when I was talking about that. But now they've planned a temple in Iquitos. There's going to be a temple there so they don't have to do that anymore.
Is this in the middle of the jungle?
Yes.
Isn't it amazing that missionaries went there and taught people?
Isn't it amazing that there's a whole big city in the jungle that there are no roads to?
I'm just
I guess it's like an island.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So cool.
There's so much about this world that we can't even comprehend. I just sitting here on the prairies where I can see everywhere. I can't imagine living in a forest that has no roads that go to a city.
It's crazy. So I'm so happy for them to get a temple.
That's great.
In Iquitos, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Anything else? We ready for some facts and stats?
I don't even know if I necessarily have a inspirational thought.
Something. We're not changing rules yet.
Okay, I got it.
This temple was announced April 1st, 1981. The groundbreaking was September 11th, 1982, and the dedication was January 10th, 1986 by Gordon B. Hinckley. Its site is on 4.5 acres, and it has light-colored Peruvian marble. This is like marbles.
That makes a lot more sense, because mine said granite, but I'm like, I don't feel like that looks like granite. It's marble.
It's nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, very expensive probably. 4 instruction rooms, 3 ceiling rooms, and 1 baptistry, 9,600 square feet. Like, you can make it bigger.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Fine. 112 feet tall. And then there's a Moroni on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Janelle, final thoughts.
I asked Bob, because he went there with the choir, like I said, and I said, what'd you think about Lima, Peru? And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, when you go there, the sun is overhead. It's not north or south.
Oh.
There are no shadows. If you know Bob, you know that this is very interesting to him,
Yeah.
which it actually super is. And so he's like, I'm just going around being amazed that there are no shadows. And there's just people walking around and they just think it's regular. No, this is amazing.
I like it.
That's what he loved about Lima, Peru.
My reaction to that story was, that is very Bob.
Yeah.
But I've got several gospel connections to make from that.
Wonderful.
Okay, the gospel, a new person in the gospel would be like, this is new? This is amazing. Why are you walking around like it's no big deal?
Agreed.
Right?
Yes.
Or they see a temple and people are just walking past it and they say, why don't you see that this is amazing?
This is amazing. Yes. I love it. He mentioned how much he loved the people there. He said the people were so nice. He was able to stay after the concert and talk to some of the people. And even with the language barrier, he's like, the people there are really, really amazing. And we can tell because of just how many people are accepting the gospel, how busy the temple is.
Just how many temples are being built. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's a big deal. And I want to go somewhere on the equator now. And
I know, right? And we'll sit there and take pictures. Bob was sitting there taking pictures of no shadows. Nobody else is taking pictures.
No shadows in a temple. Enlightenment.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's everything. Thank you for being with us as we discuss the Lima Peru Temple. If you have more stories about this or another temple, please share it with us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at Every Temple Podcast. And if you learned something, please share this podcast with a friend. Follow us wherever you listen on Spotify and YouTube, and you can leave comments, ratings, and reviews there. We will see you in the next episode where we are excited to talk about the Buenos Aires, Argentina temple. If you want to learn more about why we build temples and the role they play in our religion, please visit churchofjesuschrist.org/temples. We are not sponsored by or affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.